Hi, Arpit. Nehal, you're from Adgully.
Hi, Neil. How are you?
So, I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine.
Beginning with my questions, I just wanted to know that you have been not only a host, but you have also been a part of Sacred Games.
Hmm.
How has your journey been in the media and entertainment industry so far?
Ah, okay. It's been long. A lot of people obviously see where I am today and they say, oh, that's nice. It's a good little space to be in, but it's been long. I've been around for a decade and it's been slow, steady progress, which I'm happy about because they say apparently slow and steady wins the race. So I'm hoping to win the race eventually. But no, it's been great. It's been fun. This is something I enjoy doing, both aspects of it, whether it's acting. I had a small role in Sacred Games too. I also work as an actor in television commercials mostly, and it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it immensely. And of course, sports broadcasting has taken a giant step upwards in the past 3, 4 years. And I'm also very surprised at times that I'm here because you obviously wish to do the best and you wish that the best happens to you, but a lot of times there is a little bit of you wondering whether it will actually happen. So I'm very happy where I am, and almost every day I have to remind myself that wow, this isn't a dream, this is a reality.
Yes. So, what are the preparation that goes behind the screens? We know that what you do on the screen, but what takes you to be on the screen? How do you prep for each and every show that you host?
Um, so if it's football, I'm assuming we're talking about the sports broadcast angle of it. So if it's football, one thing is I've been watching football since college. So a lot of the sport I know, a lot of the teams I know, I've been following for a long, long time. But if it's something like the Euros, which has just ended, so first up, we do get a lot of material from our crew, which is put into a sort of a information docket or a booklet that we can refer to. So we get that. That is our first point of reference. That helps us a lot. Apart from that, I keep track of the news leading into the games that I'm going to be doing. So it's not like 2 months ago or something I'm reading. I might occasionally, but it's not that definitive then. Towards the game, obviously, my preparation becomes a little more intense. I read up a lot about the teams, about the players. I try to get as many stories that I can. If there's something interesting that I find, uh, like Ruben Guzens, I remember I found the story about how he was rejected from being in the police because apparently his legs are of different lengths. So I find something like that, and I would like that to be a part of my show. Uh, and the one thing I definitely keep a look at is Twitter, because Twitter tends to give you a lot of interesting information at times, which your usual news sites might not. So there are a lot of, I follow a few sports journalists. I follow obviously the teams and all. So invariably, when they're tagged or they send out a tweet, I see that information. So it's about that with respect to football. If it's a sport that I've not followed as much, like I love tennis, but I don't follow tennis as religiously as I follow football. So then I have to put in a
Okay.
little more effort in terms of the players, read up a little more about them than football.
Okay. So Copa America and UEFA Euro ended both ended together almost. So what were the kind of engagement that you saw for both these tournaments and viewership?
Uh, I mean, in an ambiguous manner, a lot, but there was an article, of course, in the media about the viewership numbers, and I've been trying to get the latter numbers as well. But I think for the first 21 matches of the Euros only, it was I think 35 million people who had tuned in across the matches and across the broadcast, which is a tremendous increase from not only the previous Euros but also from the Champions League and everything that we do broadcast quite regularly. So the numbers were great. If we had hashtags, I'm not sure if you know, but we had hashtags specific to say Euro 2020 in Hindi or Euro 2020 in Tamil or Copa in Hindi. And those hashtags were trending more often than not when the games were on. I remember waking up for the final, the Copa America final. I wasn't part of the broadcast. I was trying to get as much as I could watch in the highlights and all. But for the final, I of course woke up Messi versus Neymar. And I remember I was sitting with the commentary guys and I was enjoying it live. I was enjoying the commentary live, the Hindi commentary live. And they had a hashtag Copa in Hindi. And I just went on my Twitter and I said, okay, let's just see how many people are responding at 5:30 in the morning. And I was just blown away at the number of tweets that were coming in. These are people who are awake and interacting with these people. These aren't people who are just sitting and watching the match. So you can imagine the numbers must have been vast. I still don't have official confirmation on the numbers on the finals of the Euros or the Copa America, but I'm pretty sure it was massive and it was much more than the previous years.
Okay. What motivated you, or what interest did you, how were you interested in becoming a host, and especially for football? Were you a player yourself or what?
So I did play football. I was introduced to football very late in my life. I, like most kids growing up at the time that I did, I wanted to be a cricketer, and I attended coaching. For cricket, I played cricket. We used to go and have matches with random people and random teams. But then in college, I kind of discovered actual football, because before that I didn't understand it. And there were a lot of people who were interested in football in college. And while listening to them, while seeing them play, even I got interested in football. So that's when I started and I played football. I represented my college team and all, which wasn't really the best, but I was part of it. And even when I got into my first job, I worked in IT for 4 years. So in my first job, I made a team that played the intra company tournament. We lost it the first time around. We won it the second time around. So I've always been very interested in football, and I used to watch it simultaneously. At that time, I had no inclination or idea that I was going to be a sports anchor or even an anchor, because I was working in IT and I didn't even think that there was anything else planned in my life. But it just happened. I would like to believe that a lot of things fell into place for me unexpectedly at times. I did not set out wanting to be an anchor. I quit my job and I became an actor. I nowhere thought I would be an anchor, and nowhere thought I would be related to sports also. But in 2010, I walked into a wrong audition. I remember I thought it was for acting, but it turned out it was for anchoring. And I was ready to walk out and say, "Oh, sorry, मैं गलत जगह आ गया." But they said, "Why don't you give it a shot? It's like reading a script and remembering it." And I said, "Okay." So I gave that audition, and they liked me. And they said, "You actually can be an anchor." I never thought I would be an anchor. I always thought, watching people on TV who used to be anchors, I used to think either you are so different from a regular person like me, you're so enthusiastic or so jumpy or so mad at times. So I thought I wasn't that kind of people. Or you were so knowledgeable, like say a Harsha Bhogle, where you knew literally everything that happened 20 years ago in every match. So I was not that either. So I started. It was a home shop network that was starting, that had started in India, and I worked with them. Even then, I wasn't really sure that I would branch into sports. And then over the course of the years, I got a couple of calls to audition for sports channels. Nothing worked out. I mean, it's a very long story if I dive into it. But eventually, like I said, things fell into place. I auditioned for Sony in 2017. And I remember taking a picture with a TV in the audition room, which had the Champions League logo. And I was auditioning for some cricket show, not even for the Champions League. And I took a picture with it and I posted it on my Instagram and I said, "Sweet dreams are made of these." And just implying that, wow, this would be something good. And people thought I'd gotten the gig and they started saying, "Oh, congrats" and all. And I said, "Nahi bhai, mila nahi hai, main bas aise hi bol raha hu." But yeah, I don't know, maybe it's what they call the secret and the power of attraction, because 2017, I think September, October, I may have auditioned with them, and May 2018 is when I hosted the Champions League final in Hindi for them. So it was a very long journey. In 2010, I started as an anchor, and 2000 18, I started with Sony. I hosted 2016 Badminton League as well. But again, it didn't really have a breakthrough as a sports anchor until I reached Sony.
Okay. So there are quite surprises that while anchoring, you never know कि क्या होने वाला है आगे. So how do you react to those situations? Is it a fanboy moment that you have sometimes, or how is it?
You mean on screen or off screen? Because my reactions off screen can be very different from on screen.
I want to know both, how you are on screen and off screen.
So off screen, I'm a like every other fan, every other passionate football fan, and I'm jumping and I'm screaming and I'm using words that should not be used at times, and getting into arguments also at times, and hugging and celebrating. I'm literally like a very regular football fan. So we watch matches, right? When matches are happening, we're obviously not on air and we're sitting together and watching it. And sometimes if you're supporting different teams, it does get a little, awkward. And if you're supporting the same team, we're just jumping in joy and like celebrating as if we've scored the goal or we made the tackle or something like that. So I'm very regular like that. I enjoy football immensely, and my reactions are very loud when I'm watching it, when I'm not broadcasting it. When I'm broadcasting it, obviously I need to be a little more controlled. But I would still like to believe that a lot that flows out of me while I'm on air as well is very natural. Like I'm still that fan. I still talk like a fan, and I just try to sound better so that the people who are watching, don't say, "Are ye kya pooch raha hai ye?" or something like that. And yeah, I mean, live television is the one that excites me the most because there are no retakes, and you have to get it right. You can get it wrong. Let's be honest. It's not like I've gotten everything right always, but I love it for the fact because you're so aware of what you're doing, and you have to be there 100% in that moment. And in that moment, if a curveball is thrown at you, I would like to believe I respond to it like I would respond to it in normal life. So I don't think that there's anything different except the communication, because I know this communication is not just for me. What I say on air is for a lot of people, but the emotions, what I feel, whether it's happiness, whether it's disappointment, whether it's sorrow, whether it's fear, like we had this time around in the Euros, I would like to believe it's all natural over there. It's just the communication is a little more controlled. That's it.
Coming to my last question, being an anchor, do you have a style or a mantra that you follow before every event that you host?
Event or on air, because they can be both very different.
Sorry, on air.
Okay. Because I'll be very honest with events. A lot of times the energy has to be much greater than what you're portraying on screen, because obviously screen, the camera is right there, but event people are like miles away from you. Do I have a mantra? I actually just like to be very cool and calm about it. So I try not to overexcite myself or get overly, amazed by the situation, which can happen, and it's happened in the past. But I think I give it my best when I'm absolutely calm and controlled and composed, and my communication is fine. Otherwise, I'll give you an example. I had to interview Alessandro Del Piero, and that was the first time he was making an appearance. And they said, okay, we're going to get Alessandro Del Piero, and he's been one of the biggest football stars. And I was just so amazed as a fan. So my eyes were all wide, and I was, inside, I was so happy, and my hands went cold, absolutely cold. So when we went to the studio, and I said, no, I'll be fine. I'm going to do this. I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to be all right. And he came up on screen. I remember my hands going cold again and actually starting to sweat. And for the first few seconds, we weren't on air. So for the first few seconds, I was literally stumbling with my words. And I was like, I can't go on air like this. So I was trying to talk to him, and he was so cool. And he's like, yeah, hi, how are you? Is everything all right? I'm like, hi, I'm so excited to talk to you. And I knew this couldn't be the communication on air. So I was just trying to come down to a space where I was, more in control. But there's no such mantra. I like to be calm before I go in. So I don't try to think too much about it, because if I think too much about it, I'll make it a much bigger affair, which it is, but which wouldn't be conducive for me to do a good show. So I just try to break it down. I think it's going to be a normal conversation with friends, even though they are very high profile friends. But yeah, that's about it. No other mantra as such.
Okay, that was all with my questions. It was really, really, really amazing talking to you.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Nihal. Thank you.
Thank you so much.